The APC congresses have been held in various zones with various outcomes. Here is a compilation. On a special report tonight, Erika Ivy says pet names are an important part of relationships as it expresses fondness or familiarity. Do you agree with that? Well, sit back as we bring to you the need to spice up your relationship. Most of life's vital messages are disseminated through diverse means such as letters, songs, riddles, and poems, as captured in Professor Wole Soyinka's What the Hunter Saw. Stay with us tonight for these reports and more. I remain Achibon Basi, the guide for tonight. Mr. Alphonsus Oga Eba has been elected as the new All Progressives Congress Cross River State Chairman alongside 35 others through consensus into the State Working Committee. Paul Abel, who witnessed the election at the UJSN Stadium Calabar, reports that it was peaceful, devoid of any form of violence.
Right now at the UJSN Stadium, and accreditation haven't been done successfully. Suffice to know that just a day before today, an enlarged stakeholders of the APC met and they agreed on concession as well as zoning of offices. So what you see right now happening is the calling out of names of the various offices, 36 in numbers. All these offices have been zoned to various local government and various senatorial districts. As you can see right behind me are the people who have been called out to occupy different offices, and it is according to consensus and a general agreement by all the party stakeholders here. And the atmosphere here is free, peaceful, everything done in order, all the people seated in their various local government areas, and there is no cause for alarm. The security is all over the place, and it promises to end well. The state chairman that has been given the appointment or elected through consensus is Alphonsus Oba Egba, and he has been called out. Just a moment from now, what is going to happen is that the committee in charge in the state of this election will make pronouncement of their names, and there will be a general consensus to answer yes.
Those who agree should say yes. Those who don't agree should say nay. They have it. Congratulations.
I want to thank every member of our party, but I want to reserve a special recognition for one man, the state chairman of our party, the distinguished Senator Matthew Umbu Jr., who alongside the senior special advisor to the governor and Tufam Chief Peter Ogie in the last 1 week and 2 weeks have led me through the crucibles. I've had sleepless nights talking to elders of the party, talking to stakeholders of the party, that a decision should be made in favor of the will of God.
All the ditches we've had into bridges. We have broken the walls of division. We have broken the walls of disunity. Today we have a party that is not just prepared to continue to sustain power in Cross River State, but actually join hands with our other states to ensure that Nigeria remains an APC country.
And that is how it is here from Calabar, Cross River State.
Meanwhile, Stephen Nta has emerged the newly elected state chairman of the factional APC in Akwa Ibom State, with David Umoisien as deputy chairman, Uduak Udo secretary, while Obu Udoyok emerged as the organizing secretary. Nsikak Okon reports that the Congress, which took place at Kara Event Center along Stadium Road, Uyo, had 4 candidates contesting for the chairmanship position. 2 later stepped down, and one of the contestants did not show up.
The newly elected chairman of the party, Stephen Nta, pledged to give every member equal opportunity to work for the growth and unity of the party. He advised the members to avoid any form of irregularities that can cause problems in the party.
This is a great testimony that come 2023, because of the way we have been united in this business, the one of today, the Hilltop Mansion will be delivered.
Some stakeholders of the party commended delegates for peaceful conduct of the exercise and called on them to continue to work for progress and unity of the party in order for APC to take over Hilltop Mansion come 2023.
I brought you a message of peace, a message of unity. I will ensure that there is unity of APC in Akwa Ibom.
Delegates from 329 wards in all the 31 local government areas of the state participated in the State Congress. In Uyo, Nsika Okon, NTA News.
Still talking politics, the All Progressives Congress APC Ebonyi State has elected Chief Stanley Okoro Emega as its chairman to pilot the affairs of the party for a period of 4 years. Chief Emega scored 1,080 votes, while his opponent garnered 61 votes during the State Congress, which held under a peaceful atmosphere. Chika Opara reports.
That accreditation has ended, but voting is still in progress. With this Bangele Orot Attention Stadium, the venue of the State Congress, still filled to capacity. And right here with me is Dr. Agwo. We want to interact with him to know exactly how the Congress is going. Here in Ebonyi State, what can you say about the exercise?
The exercise here in Ebonyi State have been very peaceful, quite interesting, and hitch-free. I think it's a wonderful convention so far held in this state by the APC government.
For you, it appears that it's a delay. What is responsible?
Yeah, the delay could be due to the bureaucracy involved in organizing elections, because you need to check people, you need to make sure they are the right delegates, the people that are going to vote. Then you need to check your materials. So probably some of this bureaucracy I think that was what caused the delay.
The state governor, Chief David Umahi, who later voted alongside other delegates, appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari and the National Working Committee of his party for giving everyone an enabling environment to midwife the process in their states.
Let me first and foremost congratulate our national leader, Mr. President, whose integrity and peaceful dispositions has given rise to a very peaceful and due process party, APC.
In Abakaliki, Chika Okore, NTA News.
Also in Benue State, chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has elected new executive officials to pilot the affairs of the party, with a charge on them to redouble their efforts in reclaiming the state in 2023. Correspondent Elias Itzvei reports that the 2021 State Delegates Conference, which took place at the Ape Aku Stadium, Makadi, was conducted under a peaceful atmosphere.
The Apereko Stadium Makudi played host to chieftains and delegates of the All Progressives Congress across the 23 local government areas of the state to elect new officials of the party. Out of the 36 positions, 35 officials were elected through consensus, while the chairmanship position was contested for by 2 candidates. In the chairmanship election, Mr. Austin Agada overwhelmingly defeated Mr. Omale to emerge as the state chairman of APC.
Austin Agada, having certified the requirements and scored the highest votes, is hereby declared a winner and returned elected.
Some party stewards expressed their happiness in the process, as it is a clear demonstration of fairness and strict adherence to the principles of internal democracy.
What is important is that in this party, we believe in internal democracy.
We all have our own freedom of speech, and regardless of that, we still conducted election, and it's a free and fair election.
Deep in the heart of the people of this party, people are happy. I can see from their expressions.
Leader of the APC in Benue State and Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume, affirms his confidence in the new officials in taking the party to the desired level.
We are still members of the same APC family. At the end of the day, we are going to meet again, and those who are aggrieved, as usual, will also be attended to.
The new executive officials have 4 years to oversee the affairs of the party. In Makurdi, Elias, Etiaf, Nta News.
And away from politics, improving livelihood and restoring the rule of law in crisis areas will remain the major component of the stabilization program of the United Nations Development Program in Africa. Assistant Administrator and Regional Director for Africa of the UN Agency, Ahuna Eziakowa, said this as she concludes her 8-day official visit to Nigeria. And Debola Brooklyn Sunday has the report.
Records show that the insurgency in northeast Nigeria left about 10 million people displaced, with approximately 160,000 Nigerians living as refugees. Towards the restoration of hope to affected populations, the United Nations, through its regional stabilization program with the Nigerian government, have been responding to the insecurity, forced displacements, and conflicts in the zone. After an 8-day official visit to Nigeria, the Assistant Administrator and Director of the Regional Bureau for Africa, Ahuna Eziakowa, said the project is worth investing in.
Indeed, on the faces of those we met there, we saw hope being restored. Still many challenges, don't get me wrong, but it was just amazing to see that because of these green shoots of investments that we were starting to make in rehabilitating the areas, people were feeling confident enough to go back to their ancestral homes.
When asked on the position of the UN agency on vaccine inequality, the United Nations Assistant Secretary General said,
vaccines denied is development denied. We cannot, as a human family, survive this without ensuring that every country gets what it needs in terms of the vaccination.
The organization is also assisting Nigerian youths in cash transfer program for business restoration after COVID-19 downturns.
The Minister of Humanitarian and Social Development, Minister Sadia and her team, they have a social registry, and the governors to make sure that we reach the most directly impacted.
So far, UNDP has invested $30 million in northeast Nigeria. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, Nta News.
You are watching news reaching you from the studios of Nta Calabar. You can watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Nta Calabar. Stay with us. More reports after this time. Good to have you back. And now to our special Sunday package segment. The federal government has launched an emergency intervention to fight the ravaging Quail birds and other trans-border pests in northwest part of the country. Musa Baba Aliyu reports that the exercise is taking place in Kano, Jigawa, Katsina, and Kebbi states.
There were reported cases of farms infestation by cooler birds and other transborder pests, including locusts, in some farming communities in northern part of the country. The most affected states are Kano, Jigawa, Katsina, and Kebbi. The Office of the Chief Veterinary Officer of the Federation said the pests are migrating from neighboring countries during harvest time.
These quilla birds are mostly found in water area where they have this typer grass. The team of Federal Ministry of Agric, in collaboration with the state government, mostly used to identify these hiding places.
The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, therefore launched an aerial spray to depopulate the birds and pests in the affected areas.
We don't want total eradication, because with total eradication it will affect the environment. Because no matter how destructive these birds are, they also play a role in the environment, to maintain balance in the environment. So it is to reduce the population of these birds to a manageable proportion that the farmers can collect the yield from their efforts.
We thank the federal government for this gesture. It will go a long way in helping our farmers, he says. The exercise has been completed in Kano and Jigawa, while the aircraft will soon move to Katsina and other states of the Federation. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Most of life's vital messages are disseminated through diverse means, some in letters, others are communicated in songs, poems, and riddles. The play, What the Hunter Saw, is not just relaying a message of taking responsibilities, but unravels the ills and enigma of modern society using Professor Wole Soyinka's work as a basis for what the hunter truly saw. Charles Alpha tells us more.
Deep calls to the deep. In the roar of waterfalls, the waves below sweep over me. The cry of the people for a change of ways. Leaders and followers alike. The play, What the Hunter Saw, by the Roger Royal Theatre, depicts conversations of issues of lack of transparency, corruption, injustice, self, and a brutal world where many fail to acknowledge failures. What then did the hunter see?
It is not easy to lead, and that is the exchange you find in this play, that even as a leader, he has to own up because he realized certain things. So it's not about Tinubu, it's not about Buhari, it's not about whoever there. It's about all of us. And that is what we are talking about. What do you see? And how do you respond to the things you have seen? The change begins with me, the change begins with you.
Going to bed with a dying native chief who chanced another man and is protected.
Oh, mere metaphor, conveying the sameness of two situations or
Isaac Udochukwu played the part of Professor Wole Soyinka, who has been accused of many things, including his ideology about life.
To the life of a river must...
Shigidi, so they are called. The ladies behind the lead character represented the people's mindset, the voice, criticism, and how he used his book to respond to his critics.
If you read my books and you don't understand them, I did not write it for you.
But in the end, he owns up to his responsibilities, accepted his failures and accusations.
What the writer is saying really is not that Soyinka is trying to say that there should be a point where he accepts who he is.
Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Pet names are names given to loved ones at home, places of work, and the society. other than their names used on official capacities. Research has it that the use of pet names on spouses or your loved ones is another way to show affection to the bearer of the name. Erika Ivy in the special report tries to unravel the mystery of pet names in spicing affection among couples.
Research shows that the practice of giving pet names to people is as old as man, and in Africa, especially the southern part of Nigeria, pet names given to loved ones go to a long way to show intimacy and affection, which can be a form of attraction and fun. It is also a general belief that a respectful and submissive wife is not supposed to call her husband by his name, and so pet names could speak a lot about relationship between parents and children, spouses, family members, and friends.
When you give somebody a pet name, it makes the person feel so special, and when you call the name, the person is like a soft spot.
The pet name I call my wife is Eyeneka. She replaces the sisters I have.
I'm named after my paternal grandmother. Sometimes they call me Kaite, Mommy, Ma, and things like that. And it reminds me of my grandmother.
When I call my husband Treasure, and he responds also, I feel so happy, and he also feels happy, and at least that shows that I am his treasure, and he is also my treasure.
For some couples, pet names are a good source of romantic triggers and indications of strong feelings in a healthy relationship, and should be encouraged, citing biblical example where Sarah called Abraham, my Lord.
When we call ourselves that name, really it makes the bonding so strong.
When I call him honey, it shows my love, you know. It shows he's special to me.
I called my wife Olerime.
Meaning?
Meaning that of my destiny.
What's your pet?
Honey.
That's what your wife calls you?
Yes.
What do you call your wife?
Babe.
Okay, you can call you honey now.
Yeah, but you're not my wife.
Although some people resent pet names, respondents advise that the choice of pet names should be respectful to avoid embarrassment in the society.
I call my husband my king. And that's because, of course now, in our empire, in our kingdom, he's the king.
And when our first daughter came and we saw that there was more to Sheila and there was more to Michael, and she became a mommy to me, and I became a daddy to her.
Whenever he calls, I know that signifies love. And other names, that's the names that he calls.
Because each time I look at my husband, I see him as, you know, the father, the husband, the friend. So each time I call him that name, the kind of love that we know, I can't explain, but something really moved in me.
Though at times the young ladies that are married now might choose to ignore it, but it is vital that each and every one of us has one.
Respondents say there are hundreds of pet names variation in the world, and so if you have not gotten one, you can create one sweet pet name for yourself or your spouse. Who knows, you might just spice up your love life. In Calabar, Erika Ivy, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Erika, for that insightful report. We do hope that you have learned a thing or two, and if you do not have a pet name for your partner, I think it's about time you think of one. Thank you so much for staying with us. To have a pleasant evening.